Good evening, students. The next topic we will discuss about the software process. In software engineering methods, it mostly rely on some set of basic principles. So as we discussed in the earlier topic, software engineering is nothing but we have some set of software engineering principles in order to develop any software. So it provides we have some set of tools, we have some set of process, and we have some set of methods to be followed in order to develop any software. So the process involves some collection of activities, actions, tasks that are performed when some work product is to be created. So what is a task? So this is an architecture where we can explain the entire software process. Software process is nothing but some framework activity. So inside framework will have the activity called umbrella, and every framework activity which is having the software engineering action, and each and every action which is having some set of task sets, right? So we can able to see the framework activity start with 1 up to n number of activity. In each and every framework activity, it is having some collection of software engineering actions as well as some set of tasks. Okay, so here you can able to see the framework activity, which is collection of some actions, and the collection of tasks, we are calling it as the software actions. Okay, activity means it is a regular communication with the stakeholder. That is a communication with the customers. Apart from the domain, size of the project, complexity, degree, everything has to be discussed in this activity phase. When talking about the action, it is encompasses of some set of tasks. Okay, the architectural design mainly action focuses on. Task is nothing but a small, well-defined objective for conducting any unit test, system test, integration test. Okay, so that is how the activity of the task will be defined. Okay, defining the framework activity here. What actions are appropriate for a framework activity? Like given the nature of the problem to be solved, the characteristics of the people which is doing the work, and the customers and the stakeholders, everything has to be the vendors, everything has to be defined in the framework activity. If it is a small project, the communication activity includes we have to contact the stakeholder, the developers and the stakeholder discuss about the requirements, and they'll generate that brief statement based on the requirements, and we'll get the review and approval from the stakeholder. But in case of complex project, the communication activity might itself have 6 distinct actions: inception, elicitation, elaboration, negotiation, specification, and also validation. Like what is to be needed, very important, what has to be negotiated, what has to be elaborated, to be discussed in the complex project. So task set, talking about the task set, as we discussed that it is some list of tasks, what is the objective of the software engineering action, like what work products to be produced, quality assurance, milestones, the software product status report has to be, everything has to be identified in the task set. And we have a process flow which describes how the framework activities and the actions and the tasks that occur within each framework activity are organized with respect to the sequence and time. So there are 4 different process flow are there: linear flow, iterative process flow, evolutionary process flow, parallel process flow. So we will see an architectural representation of each and every process flow. If it is linear process flow, there are 5 important phases of any software development: communication phase, planning phase, modeling, construction, and deployment phase. So linear means each and every phase will be executed one after the another. In case of iterative, if communication over, then we'll move on to the planning. If in the planning, if we want to add any more requirements, then again it will go back to the previous phase, that is communication. Then after construction also, if we want to add some requirement, if we want to get the requirement, again it has to go back to the iteration. That is called iterative process flow. In circulatory, even evolutionary is otherwise called as circulatory. Like every phases will be happen in a circular fashion. In every circular fashion, one work product has been developed. At the end of every phases, one work product has been developed. In the case of parallel process flow, after communication, planning will take place, and simultaneously modeling will also take place. That is, for each and every activity, parallelly we can able to do one or more activities. Now we will see in a definition of process flow, like linear process flow executes each of the 5 activities in sequence. Iterative means repeats one or more of the activity before proceeding to the next. Evolutionary means every activities will be executed in a circular manner. Parallel means executes one or more activities in parallel with other activities. Okay. Next topic is programming in the small versus programming in the large. What is programming in the small? So as in software development, programming in the small describes the activity of writing a small program. So what is the term? What is the measurement will you be using for telling that the given program is small or large program? So with the help of the source code, that is a line of source code which is used for the software, and it is easy to specify, like whatever the instructions we are using in the program, it is to be easy to specify, and it is quick to code, and typically it can perform one or few tasks, not more than 3 or 4 tasks. Okay. And programming in the small can involve programming by individual. An individual can also involve some small group of people over a short period of time they can do. Okay. And in programming in the small, it involves only less formal practices, tools, and programming languages. And also programming in the small can also describe an approach to making a prototype software. Prototype means it is not the original product. It is the actual model of the product has been developed. Okay. And in programming in the large, in software development, programming in the large can involve programming by large group of people or by small group of people can do for longer period of time. Okay. Here it is mainly focusing on the even we have a large program. The large programs is subdivided into different modules. Okay. And each and every modules will be done by different teams. Okay. The teams may be in different location and different companies or different organization. Okay, different people will be doing different modules. At last all the modules have been integrated into a final software product. Okay. What is the difficulty with this programming in the large is if any one of the module require changes, like because different people are doing different modules, there are many people may be involved in that activity. If any one of the module become failure, it leads to work of many people may be redoing, right? So whenever we are doing a large program, so what is the main design module is they have keep in mind that it should be high cohesion and loose coupling. Right? So what is this? So you can see in the picture A, there are different modules which represents the dotted. Okay, so each and every modules should not be dependent with other module, right? So in the picture B, you can see it is a bad example. Like each and every modules are in the dependent on different module, another modules. If in the case of one module failure, which may leads to changes in the another module. Okay, so it should be avoided. So in design phase, we have to maintain loose coupling with high cohesion in order to achieve the good designing in programming in the large concept. Okay. And programming in the large requires abstraction creating skills. Abstracting creating skills means, so whenever we are doing the implementation details of any program, that should be hidden for the end user. Only the essential things has to be visible for the end user. Okay, so abstraction should create an architecture, unlikely it need to change. Okay, and programming in the large requires the management skills. Thank you, students.